Hey guys, I have an update. I haven't been on in a little bit, so I'm starting this update, and there's going to be some notes in the comments area, so check everything out. I was listening to a podcast today. Tony Robbins was interviewing Kevin Hart, and he was talking about his journey and his career, and they were going back and forth. It's on Tony Robbins' podcast. You can go and find the Kevin Hart edition. Maybe I'll try to put the link in my notes. So anyway, I'll get into how it all comes into that in a little bit. But my update is I went on vacation. I went on carbs, which we're not supposed to do. And I had a good time. But I put on about 4 or 5 pounds, as carbs are going to do because you retain all that water from the sugar. So the second day of our vacation, which was still kind of new, I was jogging and I did 35 minutes and 2.52 miles, which is my furthest and my fastest. So that's a huge kudos. And then I ate like garbage the rest of the weekend. That was on a Friday. So by Monday when we got home, or Sunday night, Monday morning, I got on the scale and I weighed in, and I was 4 to 5 pounds heavier, which I knew was going to happen. Carbs happen. And I was right back on my keto and dirty, lazy keto, back on it. And I jogged on Monday, and I was barely able to do 22 minutes as opposed to the 35 I normally do. And I only went about 1.5 miles. And my body was hurting, and I just felt so heavy, Anyway, then I went to the gym on Tuesday, did my thing. Wednesday I jogged on a treadmill because it was way too hot outside. It was like 90 degrees and bright sun. Jogged for 10 minutes, walked for 10 or 15 minutes, jogged for a few more. So I still didn't even really get a good workout, but my diet has been back on track. Anyway, end of the story. Today is Friday, and I am back to the way I was before I went on vacation. So it only took me 4 or 5 days. And today I jogged 35 minutes, and it was for 2.58 miles. So it was even further than last Friday. Just a little bit, like by this much, but still it was an improvement. I'm now running a 13-minute mile instead of 14. So did it suck? Yeah, it truly did. It was not fun at all. My body felt good. I didn't feel heavy anymore, but it was rough because it was still kind of hot outside. But I did it. And, part of this, and getting back to Tony Robbins and Kevin Hart, is I strive to be better today than I was yesterday, and better tomorrow than I am today, and better now than I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I'm 48 years old right now. Shh, don't tell anybody. But I'm a totally different person than when I was 20, than when I was 30, than when I was 40. I've even grown massive amounts in the last 8 years. In the last 8 years, I've gotten a master's degree. I've moved across country. I bought a house. I got married, got divorced and then got married. And what else? I've opened I bought a business and I opened up a second office. I became a provider for the VA. I'm this far from a doctorate. I'm just waiting for my final grades to come in and post, and I'll have my diploma. That's in the last 8 years. Am I the same person as when I started my doctoral program in 2009? Hell to the no. So I'm just saying. So we always strive to be a better person. I'm great at losing weight. I'm bad at keeping it off. So part of my being better and doing better is, what did I learn this week? I learned that I can go on vacation Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for 5 days, go on the beach. I ate Doritos. I had chocolate covered banana. I also had lobster. But I came back, and in less than 4 days of getting back on track, I'm right where I need to be. So that is a huge accomplishment, because normally that 5 days of going off would have been 2 or 3 months of just going crazy and staying off the wagon. So I'm proving that I'm stronger and I'm better, and I've learned more and I've accomplished more. Tony Robbins and Kevin Hart, let's get back to that. So anyway, my point being, if you fall off the wagon, if life happens It's not what you did, it's how you respond to it after the fact. So just get back on. It's not that big of a deal. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is your life. This isn't like minute to minute decisions. So that being said, Tony Robbins and Kevin Hart were talking, and I know there's been some stuff with Kevin Hart, jokes that he made about being gay back in the day. You know what? I don't even care. I think he's an amazing comedian. He's hilarious. He's a great actor. He's awesome. He's a good role model. He's a very positive person. Tony Robbins, love him to death. I'm going to get to see him next month. So that's going to be really cool. Anyway, one of the things he brought up is, this is what I took away from what they were talking about. You go and listen to the podcast and you get your own takeaway. My takeaway was this: there's no such thing as perfection. I will never be perfect because I'm an evolving and growing human. I will never be perfect, ever. That's okay. What I do want is to be better today than I was yesterday, than I was 5 years ago. I want to be better tomorrow than I am today. So what does that mean? Growth is forward. It's not retroactive. So you can't come up to me about a time that was different and a place that was different and a person that was different and say, well, you were stupid back then. You did, not even stupid, that's not a good word. You did this and this. That wasn't the right thing to do. You hurt people's feelings, or you said something that may have offended someone. It was a different time and a different place and a different set of circumstances. Am I the same person that I was 20 years ago? Heck no, I've learned and I've grown. And some of the things that I did 20 years ago, I probably wouldn't do today if I was given the same choices. But does that make them wrong then? No. One of the things they brought up, or that Kevin Hart brought up, was Andrew Dice Clay. And I was like, oh my God, mind blown. If Andrew Dice Clay was a comedian today, just starting out, I don't think he'd make it, man. But I went and saw him in concert as a feminist and as a woman who fights for women. I went and saw him in concert back in the day, and I laughed my ass off because that's who he was. So I just want you to keep that in mind, because there are some politicians and there are some actors and there's a lot of things that in the media where they have to apologize and go back and atone for something they did 10, 20, 30 years ago that they probably wouldn't do today, or they'd respond differently. Growth isn't retroactive. It's going this direction, not that direction. So do you see how all of that goes to diet and exercise and healthy living and being better tomorrow than you are today? But also going gentle on yourself for what you did before you acquired knowledge and experience and all of these things that we get to experience as we grow and evolve as a human. So I know I'm waxing poetic and this is a really long video, but I wanted to, there's a bigger picture here, and I think it's important. I also was listening to Rachel Hollis's podcast, the Rise podcast today, and that's another one. She has two, the Rise podcast, and her and her husband do Rise together. And I highly recommend her book, Girl Stop Apologizing. I'll put all of that in my notes, but it's all about growing as an entrepreneur, as a woman, as a mother, as a human, as a business owner, as a medical provider, as anything, just growing every single day and learning and being better than what I was before. If I've truly, truly hurt someone, then I would want them to come and talk to me about it. Maybe I didn't have the tools, or maybe I didn't go about it the right way. I even reached out to my first ex-husband not too long ago, within the last year, and reached out to him and said, the way I left you, that was bad, man. I am so sorry that I've grown as a human, and I just see that wasn't right. But at the time, I didn't have the tools. I didn't even have the knowledge that I have now, which would explain why I did what I did. And you know what his response to me was? It's all good. We were young. We both did things. But I appreciate you and thank you for reaching out, and I wish you nothing but the best. And I wished him nothing but the best. So if you get nothing out of this, anything you've done prior to right now, right this minute, you can fix it by being better now and later and tomorrow than you were 20 minutes ago. So you had a Snickers bar. Move. Don't have one tomorrow. Choices. We make choices to be better and to do better, and that's part of growing. What is your next chapter going to be? What is your next fitness goal going to be? So me getting healthy and fit before I'm 50 is an ongoing. It's never going to end. I still have a double chin. I still have about 20 or 30 pounds on me that I want gone. But I've got guns now. I've got muscle tone, and I'm strong, and I look like I go to a gym. So, and that's okay for me. So those are my updates, and I know it's a huge diatribe on being a better person and learning and growing, but it comes to diet too. We're not perfect. So just be better tomorrow than you were today, or start some new habits, or create some new anything. So that's it. That's my update, and hopefully I'll post again soon. I'm sorry this is a long one, but I will post sooner because I have these epiphanies when I'm jogging and listening to podcasts. So thank you, Kevin Hart, and thank you, Tony Robbins, and thank you, Rachel Hollis, because you three guys are part of my top 5. You're part of the 5 people I hang around with, because all of you have something that I aspire to be. So thanks, guys. Do some personal development, pay it forward, be nice to people, and yeah, have a great day. Thanks. Bye.